Hi there. Okay, so today we are going to talk about consumer price index. Now, the consumer price index is a measure of the overall cost of goods and services bought by a typical consumer. Okay, so why is this useful? Well, this is useful because it's used to calculate the inflation rate. Okay, so in macroeconomics, there are typically two ways we go about calculating the inflation rate. So one is using the GDP deflator, okay, and the second is the CPI. So let's go through how to calculate the CPI. Okay, all right. So the first thing we'll do is to fix our basket. Okay, so in this example that we are going to look at here, my basket will have 4 brownies and 2 cookies. Okay, and the second step is to find the prices. Okay, so here I'm going to go back 3 years. Okay, so this is for year. This is for price of brownies, shorten it to B. Price of cookies, let's shorten this to C. Oh, my line. Okay, it's fine. Okay, so we have 2022, 2023, and 2024. So let the price of brownies be 1, 2, 3, and price of cookies be 2, 3, 4. Alright, now the third step is to compute the cost of this basket. Okay, so remember we had 2022, 2023, and 2024. Okay, so we have this 8 to be the cost in 2022. 14 for 2023 and 20 for 2024. Okay, all right, so now that we have that, let's go straight on to calculating the index. Okay, so step 4, we are going to choose a base year and calculate the index. Okay, so this is index. Okay, so to calculate the index, okay, so the formula for the CPI is giving us cost of basket, right, in current year divided by cost of basket in this year times 100. Okay, so note here it is times 100 and not 100%. I notice a lot of students use 100%, but it's not 100%. This is an index. Okay, with inflation rate you multiply by 100%, but with the CPI it's just 100. Okay, so let's calculate the CPI for 2022, 2023, and 2024. Okay, for so 2022 you have 100. Okay, so this is times 100. Okay, so in the base year you would usually have it as 100. 2023 it will be 175. And then 2024 we have 250. Now note here that the increase in the CPI, right, as compared to the base year here, okay, reflects an increase in prices. Okay, so if you notice that your CPI has increased relative to the base year, it means that there's an increase in prices. However, if it falls with respect to the base year, you have a fall in prices. Okay, all right. So we'll notice that when we calculate the inflation rate, we'll see that this economy is experiencing inflation. Okay, so let's calculate the inflation rate here. Okay, so the inflation rate is just the percentage change in the price index. So in this case, we are going to use the CPI from the preceding period. All right, so let's say we are looking at year 2. Okay, so we would say 2022 was our year 1 and 2023 is our year 2. Okay, so here it's the CPI in year 2, okay, which is 2023 minus the CPI in year 1, okay, which is 2022 divided by the CPI in year 1. All right. Okay, so in that case, it is 175, if you remember the CPI, minus 100, okay, divided by 100. Okay, that was for the base year. Okay, so this one was for the base year, and then this one was for 2023, which is year 2 in this case. Okay, times 100%. Now this is a rate, okay, and this should give you 75%. Okay, so the inflation rate in the economy is 75%. Okay, so this example is just a simplification of the way this calculation works, just to help you understand the concept. And before I wrap up, I mentioned that the CPI looks at a typical basket of goods for a consumer, and some of the examples of some of the goods that go into the typical basket of goods for a consumer are food, okay, so like bread, you know, fruits and vegetables, okay, and medicine. Okay, so you have medicine in there, you have housing costs, okay, and then you also have transportation. Okay, so these are some of example you will find in the typical basket of goods and services. Okay, so I think that is it for the CPI for now. Before I wrap up, I think it's important to touch on some of the drawbacks of the CPI. Okay, so one of the drawbacks is that we have something called a substitution bias. Okay, and another drawback is the fact that it doesn't take into account the introduction of new goods. And then the final one is it can't capture quality change. Okay, so you have unmeasured quality change. Okay, so let me explain these briefly before I end the video. Okay, so for the substitution bias, now remember we have a fixed basket of goods and services. Okay, now the CPI doesn't take into account that with the increase in prices. Okay, so remember we use it to calculate inflation. With the increase in prices, people may substitute away from the more expensive good to the cheaper one. Okay, so you remember I fixed my basket to 4 brownies and then 2 cookies. Now if the price of brownies became expensive, people may buy less brownies and then more cookies. It also doesn't take into account the introduction of new goods, in the sense that day in, day out, we have technological advancements, which leads to the introduction of new goods in the economy. However, once again, we fixed our basket and the CPI is not able to capture this. So because it doesn't capture this, it doesn't accurately reflect the cost of living in an economy. And another is unmeasured quality change. So this is also linked to technological advancements once again. So for instance, the iPhone, let's look at the iPhone as an example. So the operating system in the iPhone is the iOS, right? So the CPI is not able to capture the fact that Apple brings new updates, okay, which helps your phone work faster. Okay, and because it's not able to capture this, it doesn't reflect the accurate cost of living. Okay, all right. So thank you, and if you have any questions, just let me know. Goodbye.